with the mental side of tennis, from my perspective as a fan, if you like, the two things that strike me in tennis compared to lots of other sports that I think make it a big mental challenge is, first of all, it's an individual sport. But secondly, so there's nowhere to hide. Like in football, in a team sport, you can just give the ball to another, teammate, and you cannot call for it if you like. But there's nowhere to hide. The other thing as well in tennis is again in something like football, you can be really nervous, but you can get a bit lucky. And of course, that can be the case in tennis. But basically, your body could be shaking when you're about to take a penalty, okay? And you can still score because you can just put your foot through it, right? You just hit it as hard as you can. And actually, probably you will still score because of the odds on that.
Yeah.
But there's that in a sport such as darts, snooker, tennis, where you need to be pretty calm and you need to have a pretty steady hand. There's just nowhere to hide. Is there anything I'm missing, or am I underplaying something, or even overplaying?
No. I think you're 100% correct. I think the real tough thing about these sports and tennis in particular, because of how physical it is as well, is the relentlessness of point after point. And if you're nervous, you have to fight through those nerves sometimes for, an hour. and they might disappear for a while, but then suddenly, you're 5-all and it's tight again and you're feeling very tight and you have to manage it over and over again. And I think, the best players in the world just, use their tools and remember to use their tools in big moments. Because, once you get to pro level, it's not like any player doesn't kind of know what they have to do. But it's in the heat of that moment that they either don't remember because the brain is frying a little bit, or they don't have the courage to use them.
Yeah.
So, for us sitting there, I remember when Roger Federer had 2 match points against Novak at Wimbledon serving.
Yeah.
You're thinking serve and volley both.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Novak's not going to make a great return on both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what whether what Roger was thinking, or maybe knew something more than I did, but that was my thinking. But he didn't, and they slipped through his hands. Now, to do that though in that moment takes a huge amount of courage.
Yeah.
And first to make the decision, and then secondly to follow through the decision like that. But then you've always got, and this is what's so tough for players. The other thing is, match point, make the person play. Don't serve and give them a quick volley or whatever. And that's another school of thought. But I think deep down, players get to a place where they have an instinct. And I think, I say this over and over again, the best players in the world are the most relaxed and the bravest. Because in those moments, when their instinct is telling them something, they are brave enough to follow it. And which is why, and again, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but I do think it starts to push the odds more in your favor. I'll just say one other thing is, I don't know if anybody's ever been go-karting or any kind of motor racing or watches motor racing,
mm-hmm.
but when a driver gets in the groove, they lap like within 0.1 of a second every lap, like in this unbelievable groove.
Mm-hmm.
But if they lose that groove, when they're in that groove, it seems so easy. Just do it. It's like no hassle. But if they lose that groove, if they go a little too fast, then they slide out of a corner, they lose time. If they go a little too slow, then that's not effective. And the margins are so small to stay on that groove. And for players as well, when you go into something like the French Open or any tournament, but especially the big ones, you hope that you can get through that first match and find a groove. And if you get in that groove, then that gives you your best chances of winning, because then most stuff is happening automatically, which is the most effective. Everybody has a problem when they start to think on the court, and automatic is fastest and easiest because you know how to do things. And it's not like you don't register. I say when you're playing very well, you are aware of everything, but nothing distracts you. When you start to think, your thoughts start to distract you. And that's very difficult to manage. And if you can learn how to manage that and get yourself back in the groove a little faster than other players, that's obviously, helps with ranking and why certain players, are more consistent than others, because they tend to manage that better. I hope that makes sense anyway.
It does. It definitely does. With the mental side of tennis, from my perspective as a fan, if you like, the two things that strike me in tennis compared to lots of other sports that I think make it a big mental challenge is, first of all, it's an individual sport. But secondly, so there's nowhere to hide. Like in football, in a team sport, you can just give the ball to another, teammate, and you cannot call for it if you like. But there's nowhere to hide. The other thing as well in tennis is again in something like football, you can be really nervous, but you can get a bit lucky. And of course, that can be the case in tennis. But basically, your body could be shaking when you're about to take a penalty, okay? And you can still score because you can just put your foot through it, right? You just hit it as hard as you can. And actually, probably you will still score because of the odds on that.
Yeah.
But there's that in a sport such as darts, snooker, tennis, where you need to be pretty calm and you need to have a pretty steady hand. There's just nowhere to hide. Is there anything I'm missing, or am I underplaying something, or even overplaying?
No. I think you're 100% correct. I think the real tough thing about these sports and tennis in particular, because of how physical it is as well, is the relentlessness of point after point. And if you're nervous, you have to fight through those nerves sometimes for, an hour. and they might disappear for a while, but then suddenly, you're 5-all and it's tight again and you're feeling very tight, and you have to manage it over and over again. And I think, the best players in the world just, use their tools and remember to use their tools in big moments. Because, once you get to pro level, it's not like any player doesn't kind of know what they have to do, but it's in the heat of that moment that they either don't remember because the brain is frying a little bit, or they don't have the courage to use them.
Yeah.
So, for us sitting there, I remember when Roger Federer had 2 match points against Novak at Wimbledon serving.
Yeah.
You're thinking serve and volley both.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Novak's not going to make a great return on both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know whether what Roger was thinking, or maybe knew something more than I did, but that was my thinking. But he didn't, and they slipped through his hands. Now, to do that though in that moment takes a huge amount of courage.
Yeah.
And first to make the decision, and then secondly to follow through the decision like that. But then you've always got, and this is what's so tough for players, the other thing is, match point, make the person play. Don't serve and give them a quick volley or whatever. And that's another school of thought. But I think deep down, players get to a place where they have an instinct. And I think, I say this over and over again, the best players in the world are the most relaxed and the bravest. Because in those moments, when their instinct is telling them something, they are brave enough to follow it. And which is why, and again, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but I do think it starts to push the odds more in your favor. I'll just say one other thing is,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever been go-karting or any kind of motor racing or watches motor racing, but when a driver gets in the groove, they lap like within 0.1 of a second every lap, like in this unbelievable groove. But if they lose that groove, when they're in that groove, it seems so easy. Just do it. It's like no hassle. But if they lose that groove, if they go a little too fast, then they slide out of a corner, they lose time. If they go a little too slow, then that's not effective. And the margins are so small to stay on that groove. And for players as well, when you go into something like the French Open or any tournament, but especially the big ones, you hope that you can get through that first match and find a groove. And if you get in that groove, then that gives you your best chances of winning, because then most stuff is happening automatically, which is the most effective. Everybody has a problem when they start to think on the court, and automatic is fastest and easiest because you know how to do things. And it's not like you don't register. I say when you're playing very well, you are aware of everything, but nothing distracts you. When you start to think, your thoughts start to distract you. And that's very difficult to manage. And if you can learn how to manage that and get yourself back in the groove a little faster than other players, that's obviously, helps with ranking and why certain players, are more consistent than others, because they tend to manage that better. I hope that makes sense anyway.
It does. It definitely does. With the mental side of tennis, from my perspective as a fan, if you like,
Play. Play.
Good afternoon, the tennis fraternity. Tom Grant here from sunny Glasgow today. How are we doing? 2 days in a row. And there is plenty of you guys watching along on finals day. Novak Djokovic just about to take on Grigor Dimitrov. Plenty to speak about in the goings on of the mad world of tennis. What is going on in Cancun? Was expecting to wake up, didn't stay up for it. Was expecting to wake up to a tennis final scheduled, and it has been scheduled, but we only know one finalist. So yeah, what is going on with the WTA? What is going on in Cancun? Ghost is talking about Man United and Man City. I've had a nightmare in the fantasy football yesterday, Ghost. So I will tell you about that a little later on. Rahul, how are you doing? Good to see you back. I don't know if yesterday was your first stream, but it was certainly your first time joining me. So sorry for you that you've had to see my face 2 days in a row. Good to see you too, Ghost. I've missed you. I was asking for your whereabouts yesterday as I spoke about Rublev in glowing terms as one of my favourite off-court personalities in the tennis world. So yeah, match is just starting now. As you can see, or as I can see as well, Djokovic, heavy favourite in this one. Tell me, somebody sell it to me that Dimitrov has a puncher's chance, shall we say. The match head-to-head lineup is 11-1 in Djokovic's favour. Managed to take in both semi-finals yesterday. A couple of interesting talking points with that one as well. Of course, Djokovic, admitting after the match that he has had a stomach virus. He's been battling a stomach virus all tournament. So hold on, I'm just checking your screen when you close. I don't know what that means. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I don't know if there was maybe sound difficulties, if I was maybe a little bit far away from the mic. That was a great intro as well. I've just performed, and it's and nobody heard it. But anyway, so let's see what the intro of this match is like. Dimitrov serving first, and does he have a chance? Somebody sell it to me that he has a puncher's chance against Novak. To be fair, pre-match yesterday to the semi-final, I pretty much wrote off Rublev's chances, and yeah, he did well. He looked like he could have actually taken it at some parts. He was the man making the movement in the second set. Djokovic, I tweeted at the time, if we go back to the Cincinnati final, the first set and a half against Alcaraz, Djokovic was feeling the heat. He was always going to his face. He was really red. And I was getting that kind of same vibe from him yesterday in the first set. Just looked very, very low on energy. And yeah, and I suppose that was Rublev's chance he didn't take. And you just knew inevitably that Djokovic was going to come back into the match if he had a chance. I think there was a point at 2-3 in the tiebreak. There we go. That's what I tweeted whilst watching that second semi-final last night. Yeah, there was a point in the second set tiebreak. I think it was 2-3 in Djokovic's favour. He had just got the mini break, and then we had a rally on the Djokovic serve where it looked like Rublev was going to win the point, and Djokovic, as Djokovic does, just persevered, got the point, raised his arms aloft, and from there, I don't think Rublev won many more points in that breaker. But on to today's match, as I say, 11-1 to Novak Djokovic in the head-to-head. We'll go through some statage, and there's Anastasia. How are we doing?
We are good. Can you hear my TV?
I could, but you then went to the remote and turned it down. So not anymore. I'm only wanting to hear you, Anastasia. How are you doing? What's been happening?
I'm good. I'm super excited about this match. Today is the New York City Marathon as well, so I'm watching some of my friends run the marathon. So it's a bit of tennis and running.
Okay, you're not taking part yourself in the?
No, not this year. Probably next year.
Right. Okay. I like that. We can talk running throughout this stream. I've started trying to get back into my jogging. I went out for a run this morning though at 8 a.m. And it did not go well. So I had to bail halfway through the run. But yeah, let's about that. More about the tennis. Did you catch any of the semi-finals yesterday?
Yes, I did.
You did? Yeah, good.
I caught all of them.
Thoughts on Dimitrov? He battled through. He was the better player, wasn't he, against Steph?
Yes. Hi, Jane. Good morning. Thank you. I think Dimitrov has been playing pretty well since the Asian swing. Like, I think the second half of the year, he's really brought it. I think I've talked about this before. He had a coaching change. He had a sponsorship change. And I think there's just this new energy in his camp. And he's really focused on the tennis, which is great. I think this tournament he played well. The match against Tsitsipas was really close. I think it could have gone either way, but he really did dig in there to get to this final. And, I was looking at the stats and I couldn't believe it's only his second Masters 1000 final.
Yeah.
I just thought he should have had more. And maybe this is, a little bit of a resurgence in the second half of his career, which would be great for him, I think.
Yeah. Excuse me. This is only the third year of his career where he's reached at least 40 wins. And beating some big players along the way to this final. Of course, I think it was Cincinnati, wasn't it, in 2017? 2017 he won Cincinnati. So that was his one and only. It's funny. I don't know. Did you see any of his comments after yesterday's win, where he talked about his career? He doesn't really talk about it because he beat Novak 10 years ago. He's 32 now, so he's a 22-year-old. They had the baby fed tag all these days.
Yeah,
he's admitted in the past that got to him mentally. Being hyped up that much, and he spoke in his aftermatch yesterday. Let me find the quote. Talking about his career, and he says, I want to win and lose on my own terms. I can control my attitude. I don't want to feel sorry for myself for the past years. I don't want to feel like I have missed opportunities. Have I? Yes, of course. Too many. If you ask me, have I made mistakes? Yes, too many. But there comes a point where it's like, okay, I'm accepting all that has been thrown at me, what I had to face, and I continue. If I get another chance, i.e. today, so when I get that chance, I try to use it. So now I'm going to try harder than ever. Again, like I said to you, last time Dimitrov beat Djokovic, funnily enough, it shows how much John's on the ball. I actually had that tweet set up on my desktop as well. Look at these figures when he beat him on the clay courts of Madrid in 2013. He's won that first game. What I will ask you is, do you think it has to be a Dimitrov first set? Is that where we're resting kind of on here?
I think I do. I do think he has to take the first set. It was nice seeing him fight back against Tsitsipas, and I'm not saying that he can't, but I do think he has to start off really well because his head-to-head against Djokovic is not great. And if our producer can help me, I'm not sure the last time they played. If
they played twice this year.
This year,
I think it was in Rome. It might have been the clay courts of Rome this year. They played in the Australian Open third round, and I wanted to speak about that as well, because in the Aussie Open, the last 32. Sorry, it wasn't. The last 32 they played. I don't know if you remember Djokovic. Coming into that Australian Open, he was having all these hamstring problems. If you remember, You remember he was wearing
I
the
do.
strapping?
I do.
And there was a point in this match with Dimitrov. Djokovic was a break-up early. I remember watching it quite early on the Saturday morning. It was a break-up early. Dimitrov brought it back to 5-all and then was actually leading 6-5 with serve. And then on the Djokovic serve, had 3 break points to take the first serve. And at this point, Djokovic was labouring. He was struggling to get up the shots. He was feeling the hamstring. And we were actually thinking at this point, because I think he'd won like the pre-tournament against Medvedev in the final. He'd lost it in the pre-tournament in Adelaide. And then, we were thinking maybe Djokovic is basically just can't move here. And then as Djokovic does, as I mentioned, he actually 3 big serves, which was a big thing from yesterday against Rublev. 3 precise serves, got him out of those 3 break points. He went to the tiebreaker. He won the tiebreaker. And, the rest is history. Djokovic went on to win his 10th Aussie Open title. But, Dimitrov can cause him problems. They have, I think it was a fairly comfortable win in Rome. Rome, there we go. And should have won that tie. I think John's meaning Dimitrov should have won that tiebreak, maybe meaning the Australian Open one that I was speaking about. But yeah, so I mean, Dimitrov can cause him problems. I just think, as I said yesterday, Dimitrov had to make the early start, the quick start, had to break first against Tsitsipas, which he did. And I mean, Tsitsipas couldn't hit, a barn door yesterday with his forehand. But I feel, obviously, I don't think the stomach virus, I don't think the back problems that we saw against Rublev is going to play a factor for Novak. And if it does, he'll probably brush it off within 2 or 3 games.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think, I think Rublev is a different sort of player in the fact that he can push Djokovic physically and push him around the court. And I don't know if Dimi can do that as much. So I'm very interested in this match. It's funny watching this Paris Masters, and now that the field has been confirmed for the finals, I'm so excited for the finals. I really wasn't before. I was just sort of like, okay, Jacob's going to win the finals. Okay, great. I'm so excited for the finals because I want those rematches. I want him to play Rune again, and I want him to play Rublev again, because I think these guys, they're there. They're there, and I think it just has to do with a little bit of belief and a little bit of just reining it in. Like Rublev had that match. He totally had it, but he tends to, it was just like a few little things, like just it's tennis. So any little thing can change the outcome of a match. And I'm really excited to possibly see those rematches, which would be great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also want to see, the Carlos Alcaraz of these finals as well. Like he's pretty much MIA, which is strange to say about a guy who's won 6 titles, including a slam this year, but he's been MIA pretty much since Wimbledon. He's had a couple of big defeats. He's had some injuries. And I'd just be interested to see, the magnitude of that and how serious he'll take that, because I'm sure he'll be gunning to win that. Djokovic, as John had mentioned, a little bit of danger there. He was 15-30 on his serve. He just came into the net there against Dimitrov, put away a volley, delicate touch, pretty magical, that one. I like the way Rublev stood up in the third set yesterday. Everybody's seen this episode before. When Novak wins that breaker, it's usually going to be a 6-2, 6-1 set, and his opponent's just, because he's just absolutely taking the wind out of his opponent. But Rublev was standing up to him, biting back. You had it again. There was an inevitability about the 5-4 game. I was cooking my dinner at the time going, Novak's going to win here. But yeah, I just thought that Rublev showed something that I didn't know that he had. When it came to the longer rallies, he was winning the points, and he wasn't like, he's definitely altered something there. I think Advances had said on Twitter that he'd shown up the backhand a little bit better when it was under pressure, and when he was attacking. But yeah, I just thought Rublev was quite impressive. I know he didn't win the match and he was gutted, but it was an impressive showing for me.
Yeah, I mean, to answer Ghosty's question there, how would I advise Rublev? I think I would say the same thing to him. I'd say the same thing to Rune, and I think Tsitsipas and Zverev are a little different because they have, and even Alcaraz, they do have wins against Novak, so they know they can do it. But for me, it's all about belief. Rublev had that match; he was going to win that match, and a point here, a point there. He lost his cool when he loses his cool, he tends to overhit. It's just to rail it in and to just believe he has the shots than sort of trying to power through it. Out of mostly frustration, really. So I would tell him to just simmer down. That would be my advice. Simmer down.
I've heard that Andre and some new way of thinking has been like, he's going to stop losing the head on court. But I mean, I'm sure this week he's bruised his legs as usual, where he starts punching his leg and smacking the racket off the knee. I'm sure John will be able to. I'm looking at the tweet myself, Ghost, but John will be a lot quicker than I. But Vance was talking about Rublev's offensive backhand last night after the semi-final, and talking about how much it improved over the year. So I'm sure John will pull that up any second now. There we go. So yes, there was praise for Andrei Rublev from Vance. So much to, I'm sure, Ghost, your shock and surprise. But anyway, back to you guys. We've got a 15:30 game here on the Dimitrov serve. As always, anyone who joins me, just let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you need every point talked about, point by point, blast by blast, blow by blow. Really strong serve by Dimitrov out wide on the ad side. Had Novak on the stretch. Couldn't get it back. There we go.
Hello,
greetings from Chile. How are we doing in Chile? Whereabouts in Chile? Santiago? That's just pretty much, no, I know other places in Chile. So we've got Scotland here. And Anastasia, do you want to tell Luso Toka where it is you're from, or where you're coming from? New York, of course, isn't it?
Yes. I'm in New York
NYC.
City, where the New York City Marathon is happening right now. So if bells start ringing, you know why.
And how's the weather for the runners in New York?
Perfect. It is cloudy. It's about what I think it's in the 50s right now, Fahrenheit. And for me, it's not windy. This is perfect running weather. I could run for ages in weathers like this, which is great because last year was awful. Last year was hot and humid in November. It was terrible.
Wow.
So I'm really excited for the runners running today.
Yeah, good. Well, good luck to all the runners. Do you guys do it like back in London? What they do is when they do the London Marathon, they have everybody dressing up in like fancy dress and stuff like that. You have serious runners, and then you have the folk who are doing it for like fundraising, and they all dress up. Is that the same in New York? Is it?
Yes, you have a huge mix of people. You have obviously, they're the elite runners, which I think I'm actually tracking them because they're going to try and go for the under 2 hour marathon today. So, wow. And the weather and the conditions are good for them. Yeah, the weather's perfect for it. They should be able to hit that today. But yeah, does it
go past where you are? Like, does the runners...
it goes neurby where I am.
Amazing.
So amazing. It's really great because then I can just pop out and see the runners. But so yes, you have the serious runners, people going for time, and then you have the people running in their wedding dress and doing all sorts of things. So it's fun.
Okay, lovely. Well, keep us up to date if the bells start ringing. The bells have been ringing there a little bit for alarm bells have been ringing for Dimitrov in that last game, but he showed some good forehands, some strong serving, and a couple of winners got him past the Novak scare. So it's 2-1 to Grigor. I'll just give you guys, I like to do that in one of the changeovers, just a little bit of facts about this game. Of course, the ATP, they always give us some media notes to tell anybody watching and listening. So what will I pick out first? Okay, here's an interesting one, Anastasia, and to all you guys watching. This final, so it's their 13th meeting, of course. It's their first in a final. And it's between the two oldest players in the top 20 right now. All right. And it's also the oldest final on the ATP tour this season and the oldest final in this tournament's history. between
Oh, wow.
36-year-old Novak and 32-year-old Dimitrov. So yeah, the oldest ATP final this season. I suppose that's not really too difficult considering the young guns are starting to push through. Novak doesn't play every event, but still thought that was quite a quirky one.
Yeah.
How in a scale of 1 to 10 about how good my fact was there, Anastasia, what one you given that?
That was a 7.5.
7.5.
Yes.
I will take that for my first fact.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate
But,
that.
No, I was looking at the top 20 recently just to see where we're at the end of the year, and it's young. It's a young top 20, and I think it's really great to see that the young group can kind of hold, because I think there was a fear, once sort of the old men of Roger, Rafa, Novak all leave, like what's gonna happen to the ATP. And I think proof's in the pudding that the new kids on the block are doing well.
Yeah. Well, it had to happen at some point, especially the older ones that maybe you and I will remember more over the last 10, 15 years. Either injured or retired, or still struggling. In the case of Andy Murray, I'll talk you through the next couple of points. Djokovic had a double fault. In the first point there, he's had a second serve. It was returned to the body, more or less, into the centre of the court. Djokovic has just had a pretty tame backhand into the net, and he's at love 30. Now, he started quite quickly by breaking the Rublev serve first like yesterday. Rublev broke straight back, but it just seems like, a bit of a slow start for Novak. What's happened in the last couple of matches, though, is big serves will come out at this exact point, and he just put away a volley there after a first serve. So we're at 15-30. And my money is going on a couple of aces before the end of this game. Anastasia, were you impressed by the way that Novak was serving yesterday against Rublev, especially on the big moments in that second set? Rublev was putting pressure on pretty much every game. And when he was I think he won out of 12 games, he won the first point in 11 of the 12 games. And then, when he was love 30 down, sometimes love 40 down, he was serving his way out of it. Again, a strong first serve there, and Dimitrov has pushed his return long. But yeah, the way that Novak's serving, is it still this underrated serve, or does people actually give him the credit for this serve that he
I
deserves?
think people are giving him the credit he deserves, especially since it's something he's worked on in his later years, you know? It's so great. For me, I think that's one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive thing about Novak, not just because, he's a great player, blah, blah, blah. It's that even in his 36th year, he's still improving. He's still improving his game. He doesn't just sit on his laurels and it's like, I'm Novak, so I'm just not going to do anything. He's still improving and trying to gain whatever advantages that he can. And in an indoor tournament, your serve can just get you out of a lot of trouble. So that's great to see from him.
Yeah, well, we didn't get any aces, but we've had 3 first serves since he was love 30 down. He's now at 40-30. 2 of the 3 have been so good that Dimitrov has pushed the returns long. We're on a second serve this time, though. A big forehand from Dimitrov. The tactic is to go straight towards the body of Novak. He's hit a backhand up the line, has Djokovic. This time a forehand to the other corner, and Dimitrov can only find the net. And we're at 2-all, game to Novak. So we are still with serve. I was going to ask you, Anastasia, how is the Ground Past podcast going? You and Nick, how are you guys? How's it been going?
It's been going great. It's so much fun. We both enjoy talking about tennis and the opportunity to sort of introduce people. I was telling Nick about a friend of mine who, she's new, she's getting into tennis. She doesn't really know all the terms or all those things, but she knows who her favorite players are. And, she says, I was listening to the podcast about the tournaments and I was taking notes. And I was like, that's great. That's who
why
we're
we set this up.
That's who we're making the tennis podcast for, Ground Pass. It's probably not for people who are here watching this on a stream and doing that. But, if you don't know the difference between a 250 and a 500, or even that they are different tournaments, that's who it's for, So it's been really, really fun just talking tennis and remembering why we love this sport, Like when you first got into it and you were learning all the cool things and So well,
listen, anything that's going to get more people and more eyes on tennis, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you mentioned all the people in this chat. It may not be of use to them, but that I'm sure they'll have friends who are saying stop banging on about tennis all the time, and you can say, well, listen, why don't you give this a listen, and then we can talk about tennis together. So as I say, really good idea, and I wish you and Nick all success. We're at 15-all on the Dimitrov serve. A backhand by Dimitrov caught the line, and Novak has just netted. And he did that, he does that thing where he nets and then he does this body movement as if
he
he's
does the body movement, like, oh.
Yeah. He looks down at the line and he double checks if that was in or out. You've already played the shot, Nolly. You can't challenge now. So we're at 30-15. Dimitrov hasn't faced a break point as yet. Neither man has. But I'm sure he wants to be the man to get that break first, because Novak's hard to chase. He's hard to beat, but he's even harder when you're trying to chase him. The players are rallying right now. It's a backhand by Dimitrov. It looked a wee bit wild, but he's stayed in court. He's tried to go for the drop shot. Novak called it, got up to the net very early and put it away. Is this the first danger of the match in game 5? We're at 30-all. I don't think Dimitrov likes the racket he's been playing with. I don't know if a string has gone in that backhand. Yep, a string has gone really? On that backhand. So he's just quickly changing racket. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I mentioned to, and I'm sure you guys explained this in your podcast, but for people watching yesterday, I was just explaining. I think Rahul was asking, players tend to change the racket when it's new balls and they're on the return. So we had Dimitrov yesterday serving with the new balls, and the camera showed Tsitsipas getting out the new racket. Dimitrov served it out and then went straight to his bag and got the new racket because he was returning Steph on that occasion. It's just because they get the balls will fly through the air a lot quicker when they're new, not as raggedy, which would slow them down. Novak had a chance there. Sorry.
I was just going to say sometimes they have different string tensions for if they're returning or if they're serving, things like that. But yeah,
it's interesting that these are little facets of the sport that you sometimes when you come to you're maybe watching the telly and you're going, what is going on here? Like why have these guys get like 10 rackets on court? And so it's all tact.
It's all little advantages here and there. Or another big one, for example, was during the U.S. Open. Arena kept returning her rackets and getting new ones back, and everyone was like, "Why does she keep doing?" And I was like, "They're probably different tensions, different strings. She's trying to feel it out a little bit. Maybe it's not working for her." But yeah.
So, can you hear me? Okay, my mic popped off. Can you hear me? Okay,
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yep. I was going to ask you, now is a great time. The players are sitting down at 3-2 to Dimitrov. So, talk to me about Cancun then. And, it's chaos over there right now. The WTA not being held in a great light by fans, players, pundits alike. I think there's calls for, certain people to step down. What's going on? What I was thinking about? I don't know if you've seen all these Netflix documentaries about these like music festivals and stuff like that that's been organised, and then it's absolute chaos. This is pretty much what's happened in the WTA.
I think I said this pretty early on. I think when we were seeing the stadium build and stuff, I remember posting on Twitter and I was like, I see all this chaos and everyone's talking and chatting. I was like, I just want a 5-part Netflix documentary on the WTA finals. That is all I want out of life. And I think this morning I saw a post from Daria Kazakina. She has that blog, the vlog.
Something about a vlog or something like that.
Yeah. And she posted on Twitter, she was like, the only thing I'm sad about for not going to the WTA finals is that I can't do a vlog on the behind the scenes. And I was like, no. I want that.
I saw that. That was a good one. So talk to me, like, where does it go from here? Obviously the final's been pushed back.
So it's the finals is going to go to Monday. I think, where do they go from here? I just think in the way these things happen and the way change happens, in my opinion, is when people speak up. And they keep speaking up, and they sort of put their money where their mouth is in a way. So I do think the players just have to become a little bit more active in their organization, and they can't just sort of react to things. And they've been doing, I think that's what's been happening so far, is definitely some players are speaking up and talking about it. But I think it just has to be a continued push. And because I really don't think fans or just screaming on Twitter is going to do much of anything if it's not coming from the players, the people who are actually picking up the racket to play the sport. And because it's unfortunate, this is it, just looking at, for example, TV rights, media rights. If your finals are scheduled for a certain time and then they don't air at that time, it's really hard to keep an audience. An audience isn't going to say, oh, it's raining, so I'm going to come back in 4 hours. No, moved on. Moved on to watch something else.
There's that much on, like you say, there's moved on to something else. There's that much other sport on somewhere in the world. And you've got your Netflix and your Disney Plus and your Amazon Prime. So, like you say, if somebody isn't getting what they wanted to get, they're quite easy. There's so much options out there these days. Like, that you can find something that's going on. I mean, I know that the NBA was on, in your neck of the woods overnight. People will, if they're up at that time, or they're from the States or that part of the world, they'll be like, right, cool, if the tennis isn't on, I'm going to watch this here. I mean, it's an interesting debate. I think Marcus Buckland, who does the prime, certainly for the UK, he does the prime commentary and the prime coverage, and he's in Cancun at the moment, and he's pretty much said to the players, stop going on Twitter and Instagram and calling out this, that's not helping the event, kind of thing. And then others have kind of bit back at him and said, calm your jets here, Marcus. So, they're every right to complain. I mean, what happened in the Pegula golf match? I mean, 6-1, 6-2. Considering the way Coco's been playing, I mean, I read somewhere else that Coco just didn't look as if she could be bothered, being there.
I don't think that really was it. I mean, she just has had that on her face throughout the whole thing. But I don't want to discount Jessica.
Yeah, I heard she played well. Yeah, of course.
Because she has been so steady and so consistent. Because in those conditions, forget about the court and all that. To play in the wind like that was quite impressive. She just didn't let it faze her. I think she was the more focused player in that matchup, and she definitely just stuck to making sure the ball was up, at all times, and just played really good tennis. So she's now won all 4 of her matches. She's 4-0. She now has that. She's still carrying that record where I think she's now at 51 matches won. After winning the first set, so she's 51-0. So I think she's just been playing really great tennis, considering the conditions that she's in. So I definitely don't want to discount that by just saying, oh, well, Coco didn't care, so she didn't really play.
Fair enough. No, and I think Pegula's got a great chance no matter who she faces, because like you say, she has adapted to the conditions. Just to jump into the Paris Bercy final, Dimitrov just done a volley. Novak went for the lob. Hang time again for Dimitrov. You've seen a couple of short videos on social media of Dimitrov doing that this year. Jamie Delgado applauding him, of course. Andy Murray's former coach in his box these days. But it's 30-all, and we're with serve so far. I also wanted to say hey to the guys. Jake Davies, a big supporter of Talking Tennis, and Sean Power. Sean was on the stream yesterday as well, and always kept it
interesting, asking questions and contributing to the chat, shall we say. Focus on this right now. Good first serve by Dimitrov. Djokovic got it back. The players are rallying with cross-court forehands from the juice court. And Dimitrov has just pushed his long. He's facing his first break point, the first break point of the match. I'll give you a quick chat through this one as it happens for anyone that needs to know what is going on. We've got 30-40, the crowd in Paris, making their voices heard and picking their side right now. There you've got a Bulgarian flag with the name Grigor adorned on it. So the first break point of the match, he'll need a big first serve. He's probably going to go out wide here. We're on the juice court. We're on the ad court, apologies. He's going out wide. He's caught by Djokovic. He's got it back into the court, and that's all he needed because a mishitted backhand goes askew, and we are at break for Novak Djokovic, 4-3. That's all he needed to do. Those two returns, got the ball in play. That's what he's done so well over his career. I don't think Grigor. I think Grigor, for me, it's hit a great serve there. You've hit a great serve. You've felt it well. It's hit the exact part of the tennis racket that you thought. You're not expecting it to come back, and he just couldn't work out what was going on there, could he?
Yeah.
Brutal.
And this is a thing, because again, it's, I woke up this morning, I looked at the head-to-head, and I thought, Grigor has a mountain to climb. And it's not over yet, for sure. It's not over yet, but that was Novak being Novak.
Listen, I know Novak being Novak, and it's very difficult to one of the hardest things in sport. Have you seen much of Grigor this week? I know you mentioned the semi-finals. Have you seen his matches? Medvedev. Mm-hmm. I just wondered, do you see him right now? And I know we've been chatting, so you maybe haven't been as clued into it as maybe you have previously. But I just wondered if the same aggression and purpose that he's been playing with all week. Are you seeing that?
No. I'm not that he's doing anything wrong. I think he's playing fine. But that little fire, and I don't know if that's nervousness, resignment, or what, but he's definitely not playing with that sort of extra oomph that he did against those other players. And with those other players, again, a lot of them were sort of rematches from earlier in the few weeks ago. So I think he was maybe going into those with, I lost that one, so no, I'm going to come into this and try and win it. And with Novak, it's a little different there. I don't know.
Well, I said this yesterday, the mental block against Tsitsipas, being a 6-1 record against Tsitsipas, and getting closer to the finish line in the second set, where again he was like the Rublev of the second set of the Djokovic match. He was the one that was making all the push for the break, holding serve comfortably. But I was thinking, I wonder if there's going to be a mental block the closer he comes to the finish line. And he basically, he didn't really make a mark in the tiebreaker. I just wonder, that Djokovic still holds that aura. I remember actually watching that Madrid match in 2013, and there was so much potential in going, this kid Dimitrov, he's going to be the the next big thing. And I just wonder if that flames died out a little bit. Again, I just wonder, Djokovic holds an aura over you where that as soon as you maybe start to try and play catch up with him, it's hard to be motivated a lot of the time in their tennis matches. Do you get my meaning?
No, I totally do. And, I think, yes, that flame was there when he was young. I do think it did die down in general for Dimitrov. I think he's talked about it a little bit where he's definitely focusing more on his tennis this season. And you can tell from the way he's been playing. I just don't know if he's ready yet. Like, if he takes this energy into next season with this good run of matches, good run of form, I feel like a matchup against Novak might be different next season. I just don't know if he's quite ready here. I mean, Novak here is at 40 love. It seems like it's going to be another easy hold.
Yeah, it was a comfortable hold. I'm maybe just a tad ahead of you, Anastasia. Comfortable hold. Some strong serving again. And that's all he needs to do now is hold serve and bide his time. I think I know that it's not probably the biggest game that we'll see in the match, but I think this is a big game in terms of the rest of the match. I think Dimitrov can hold serve and put a wee bit of pressure on Novak to serve it out. I think we might still have a match, but if this one goes the way of Novak, which it's gone long there. So just to guys talk you through this one. Good first serve by Dimitrov into the serving box. Returned by Djokovic. It had been picked up by Grigor, hit the net, but the umpire got involved and called it out. I do think it was actually a late call by one of the line judges. So I'll talk you through this point, guys, just for those who require what is going on. Dimitrov on a second serve right now. Played it Novak, backhand by Novak. This time a forehand by Novak up the line, backhand one-handed by Dimitrov. It looks long, it's dropped in. Forehand by Novak, forehand by Dimitrov. We're playing forehand to forehand. But Dimitrov, his range isn't in. He's just pushed that one long. And Novak didn't have to earn that, really. I don't know if he was maybe going for the winner a little early, not really having the patience that he maybe showed in previous matches. It's a strange start. But as John points out, probably the match so far that we maybe expected rather than we maybe hoped for. I mean, John makes the point as well. It was a breakdown in the first set, got it back and forth to the tie break, which he should have won. Yes, he did. I will caveat that with, as I said to Anastasia, we had a big hamstring thing, didn't we, at that time?
Yes.
And at one point, I thought he was calling. I thought he was this guy's going to retire for this match. I don't know how long he would have lasted if Dimitrov had won that first set. But Novak is Novak. He just grinds it out. He continues going. He overcomes. And he looks like he's playing well right now. He's hitting the ball well. It's 30-15. Dimitrov has just put it really low into the net, timing all off on that one-handed backhand. Listen, Ghost. He spent a lot of time getting a back massage. I don't know if you could claim all that last night was for the cameras. He was doing a lot of stretching. It seemed, when he went for the stretch on a return off a Rublev serve, that might have been when he tweaked something. I am a sweetheart, though. You're not the first person who's called me a sweetheart, and you sure as hell won't be the last. So we're on to 30 all. Novak has went along with that. Okay, so we are at the situation similar to the first point of the game. First serve by Dimitrov, put near the line by Novak. Both players were really challenging it one way or the other. Again, another late call. It was out, and it was out. So it'll be game point to sorry, Grigor. I'm getting put off by Ghost. What's he saying now? But I get a massage every day. Most of them are legal. Okay, so are we questioning the legality of Novak, taking that medical time out? Is that what we're questioning here, Ghost? I know he did have a change, didn't he? He went to the toilet first, then he came back. I actually probably missed about 5-10 minutes of that, but then when I came back, I just saw Novak on the floor getting a massage. So Anastasia, where are you with that? Is there some sort of questionable etiquette going on with that? I don't know. I'm not screwed up maybe in the rules of medical timeouts and massages as maybe Ghost does. 12 minutes. There we go. So Ghost has got a bee in his bonnet about the length. Right. Okay, now we can discuss it. So is there an issue? Do you know the rules around that? I think, as I said, I went away for 10 and came back.
What happened? So he took the bathroom break. He came back and then requested the whole medical timeout thing, but he wanted to go off court again for the medical timeout. And then that's where the problem comes in, because you can't do that unless it's something sort of like a groin strain that requires, stuff to be covered or whatever. You can't just go back to have your medical timeout in the back room or whatever it is. So that was my issue with it. And then he's arguing, and I think they had like a 13-minute in between games, you know, and that's just gamesmanship in my opinion. I think, you kind of try and get away with what you can, which is what I think he did there. I don't think any other player would have been even allowed to do that or have that be a conversation, if it wasn't someone of his stature. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it seems like the general consensus is that Novak was at it. So as I said to you, I jumped away for a minute and then came back and he was lying on the ground. So I missed all that. So
sorry, I'm just trying to fix the audio again. Apologies once again.
There you go. It came.
Does that intermittently, but I believe I'm back now. So
yes,
I know, Ghost. I believe I've fixed him though. The technical whiz, the technical sweetheart that I am. So big hold there by Grigor Dimitrov. 4-5 now. Novak about to serve it out. Again, it's a hard one to call here. It's very hard to say what can he do in this game to break the Novak serve, especially I think Novak, I mean, by the stats there, we're looking at a 65%, or no, 60% actually, surprising actually. I mean, the points that we've been clued into, I've always looked at like Novak has actually been serving really well, but he's on 100% of his first serves, hasn't he? So yeah, this is where, if Novak serves it out here with first serves, like there's nothing Dimitrov can do, is there?
No, there really isn't. So yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I think that last point there was one of the most.
Okay, now I can't hear you, Anastasia. Is that just me?
Oh, can you hear me?
No.
I
don't know if I've caused it, but has my mic problems caused overall problems? Oh, right, okay. Everyone can hear you, Anastasia. I just can't.
Oh. We hear you both, but
this is going to be tough. I can't hear Anastasia right now. So
okay.
Talk us through this. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
There. No, what I'll do is I'll talk us through this this game. I'll jump out if the set finishes. I'll jump out and I'll try and come back in. I don't know if it's my mic, so apologies for this. The problems with the live stream. Okay, so you can hear us both. I can't hear Anastasia, which is really bizarre. So
interesting, but you can call it. Tom's gonna call.
We're 15 love on the Novak serve. Good time to kind of pause and just I can talk us through what is going on. For anyone who is maybe on the train somewhere in an airport, can't watch the tennis, but can stream the YouTube talking tennis. So Novak, serving 15 love, 3 points from the first set. Pretty bland first set, not really kind of live action winners from either player, but that's a good forehand by Dimitrov. Novak puts it well into the air. It's gone long, and that is better from Dimitrov. As I say, it's been a pretty tame match in terms of winners and magical tennis. But that's a much better forehand. Changed the direction well, and nothing Novak could do. So we're at 15-0. Is this going to be a similar script to the Aussie Open? Goes talking about politics. I think Sunak is Rishi. Sunak out there. Good look, a decent first serve effort. Going wide. Will he go down the tee for this second serve? Will he go into the body? I don't think he's going to go wide. It'll be read by Dimitrov, and he was taking it early against Tsitsipas, these second serves. So what can he do here? He likes to go backhand back to the backhand. He's run around forehand this one. He's looking more active though. Another strong forehand backhand cross court. Sliced backhand return by Novak. Now a backhand by Novak cross court. Sliced backhand by Dimitrov. Forehand by Djokovic. He's went for the forehand winner again. Dimitrov this time. Novak's there. Forehand by Djokovic. Backhand by Dimitrov. Backhand by Novak. And it goes wide with a forehand from Dimitrov. He's not happy with that one. His box is saying, keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely in the rallies here. So yeah. Anastasia, Oh, Anastasia, you've got some running fans there. I can see. Right, 2 minutes, and because I do want to continue our good tennis chat. So apologies if my mic is knocked somehow you off. But yeah, 30-15 to Novak, a slightly longer rally. Here we go. Oh, that was a let. Looked like a dude first serve. He was trying to go down the tee. But he just caught the top of the net. According to the umpire, it was 199 kilometers. So we've still got a first serve. We've been roughly about 40 minutes, and he tries to go down the tee again. Only can find the net, so we're on a second serve. Dimitrov doesn't step in, curiously. So he doesn't think this is going to be a kicker. He must think, it's still going to be a pretty solid Novak serve. And he's there with a slice backhand return. So we're rallying. Slice backhand again by both of them now. Dimitrov then goes for the forehand. That was the shot he was looking in the previous rally. Novak's got it. He's went back along the Novak foot. We're still rallying, but it was too good. It should have been winners by both players. We've got a forehand by Dimitrov, forehand by Novak, forehand again by Dimitrov, backhand cross court by Novak, slice backhand by Dimitrov, forehand by Dimitrov into the corner, backhand by Novak, slice backhand by Dimitrov. It's just caught the line. Forehand by Novak, forehand by. This is a great rally. This backhand slice by Novak again. Pick up backhand, slice backhand by Dimitrov, slice backhand by Novak, forehand up the line by Dimitrov. It catches the net and it doesn't go over. Much better tennis by Grigor Dimitrov. He's definitely changed it up a little bit. He's feeling the ball better. He has his range. I mean, both players hit 3 or 4 shots that most times would have been winners. That had to be about 30, at least 30 odd strikes of the ball between them. Distance running that point, 115 meters by Dimitrov, 111. The TV is telling me, and it was 33 blows off the tennis ball in that rally yesterday. I think we were about 17 for Steph Dimitrov. So yeah, a really good rally. Cat and mouse, backhand sliced, figuring it out, but Dimitrov lasted longer. We're on 30 all. He's been here before in this match so far, but Novak then pulls out the big serves. He was at love 30 earlier in the set. Another big serve as predicted by Novak. Block return on the stretch by Dimitrov. And that's something that, has taken Novak to Grand Slams as well. Whenever he's in danger, he pulls out the spot serving and he gets himself out of trouble. So we have a first set point to take it 6-4 on the Djokovic serve. I would be very surprised if he doesn't go down the tee here again. He tried it twice in the last time he was at this side of the court. He's tried it again. This time he's found it, but Dimitrov's found a return. Backhand by Novak, sliced backhand by Dimitrov, pick up backhand by Novak, Dimitrov again, backhand. They're just doing the same, pick up backhand, slice backhand, up the line. This Dimitrov has changed it up, and he changed it up to good effect because Novak can only find the net with his forehand. Really good change up there by Dimitrov. It looks like he's out tacticking here when he gets into the longer rallies. And that's what he's got to take. Yesterday against Rublev, the longer rallies, Rublev would take home the point. Dimitrov's got to be mindful of that. And I'm sure Novak will be as well. So we're at juice. And we're on the juice side of the court. Where are we going here? I think we're going out wide here. He went down the tee at this point the last time. I think we're going out wide on this occasion. We really found the corner, right in the corner, but Dimitrov gets it back and he doesn't get it over the net on the second return. And we have another set point. This game, I'd imagine, would be the longest of the match so far. We're just coming up to 8 minutes long. Again, where will he go? I think he'll read it if he goes down the tee, but if he hits it well enough, there's nothing he'll do. So we're thinking T-ball. No, he's not. He's went back to the corner. And we're rallying. Slice backhand by Dimitrov. Backhand by Novak. Sliced up the line. He's not read it well. Novak takes the first set, 6-4. He puts his finger to his ear. I think that's in response to the crowd loving Dimitrov. He loves to be hated, hates to be loved. He's basically applauding the French, the Parisians, telling them to keep it going. He's doing all this and having a wry smile on his face. I'm going to jump out of the studio. Anastasia, if you want to kind of, I don't know if John's going to put on a video, but I'll jump out.
Yeah, I'll take a break too.
Right. Hello. I think I've sorted out the gremlin and the machinery. So hopefully when Anastasia returns, I will be able to hear her and continue, what I thought was a very engaging conversation. Of course, Novak Djokovic 1 set away from his 40th. His 40th, yes, 4-0. His 40th Masters 1000 title. Was just hearing on the break there. Anastasia, say something.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. What is that? Oh, right, okay. I was wondering where that was. I thought that was coming from your living room.
No, that's not me.
There we go. I genuinely thought that you'd stuck on the show tunes in the mid-set break. I thought that's how you watch your tennis, set one.
Yeah, I just have like a brass band in the background.
Yeah. You stick on the classic tunes in between set 1 and 2.
I was just thinking at the end of that set, and I think I put some stuff in the chat, but, I think you asked me earlier what I thought of how Grigor was playing. I was like, oh, he's playing okay, but I don't see the fire. He didn't bring the fire until those last 2 games. I was like, where was this from the beginning? Did you need coffee? Maybe he needed to take an espresso shot before he started playing. But he's definitely playing a lot more aggressive now, which is good. And let's see how this goes.
Yeah. I think you're bang on the money there, Anastasia. I think you need to sometimes get out your own head, right? I'm in a final here. I don't want to mess up my chance. I'll play conservative. I'll make sure I'm into the set. I'll make sure I'm not really making any errors. And then sometimes it just it prevents you from playing your best tennis. Just get off the, what do you call the take off the stabilizers and just roam free, my friend Dimitrov. And
I think that was his fastest hold.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I was fairly comfortable as well.
Yeah,
Novak was on the stretch there as he put away a forehand. Novak has lost in these. I was hearing in the break when I was trying to set up my mic that 60 times when Novak has been in a final, 6-0, only twice when he's won the first set has he not gone on to win the match. Now, one of those, interestingly, was this time last year against Holger Rune in this very event. Of course, winning the first set there. So Novak, he'll not be, thinking this is done and dusted just yet, considering what happened last year. But yeah, I think you're spot on there, Anastasia, in terms of I think we might see a closer set, or I don't know. What my fear is that we're going to start going, come on, Grigor. And then, Novak just puts... I don't think Novak had to be in fifth gear to win that set, is my point. So, if he finds that kind of other extra step, it could be curtains for Grigor.
No, totally. It might be too little too late, a little bit.
Yeah, I thought the first set was going to be key. I did think that Grigor had to win it to have any kind of chance, because very rarely you're going to have... this needs to be the start of the match and he wins the next 2 sets, if you get my meaning. Do you know what I mean? So he has to straight set Novak right now, and I just don't see it happening. Again, I get it that you guys are talking about, there's doubt and maybe a bit of pessimism over the back injury. I wasn't conscious to the kind of whole shenanigans in between set 2 and 3 last night. He's still serving well, Novak. He's just served a serve out wide that can only be blocked and unreturned, really, by Dimitrov. Hello, Max. I don't know has Max been in the chat all the time? I know Max is usually on, but I haven't seen Max kicking about. We've got some of the good old regulars: Jake, Sean, Max, Ghost, Jane. Ghost is pretty sure that Noli has no health issues. And the stomach virus, Ghost, are you to the stomach virus as well? Is that a big no-no for you? I'd assume so. Novak's just played probably one of his shots of the afternoon. But he just played a backhand one. I mean, he apologised for it. Did it clip the net cord? Oh, I don't know. I don't think it did it? I mean, it looked like a fairly, decent winner. Backhand up the line.
I don't know why he apologized.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe a shot previous, it might have clipped the net because Dimitrov was into the net. So 40-15, a fairly comfortable hold for both men so far in set 2. I've got a mate who's actually, so this is for you, Anastasia, your ground pass podcast, right? So I've got a mate who, single guy, and so he likes doing solo travel. And he's a big football fan, and he's quite into his history as well. So Friday night he puts on his Instagram that he's at the Paris Saint-Germain, which is a football team in Paris. He's at the Paris Saint-Germain game on Friday night. So I'm like, "Are you in Paris this weekend, mate?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Get yourself to the tennis." He's like, because he doesn't follow tennis. So I'm like, "Get yourself to the tennis. The tennis is on in Paris right now." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Just basically try and get the semi-final, try and get the final." So he tried to get into, he basically tried to say that his Saturday was booked up, but he might try and do the Sunday. And he texted me last night to say that Sunday was obviously already fully booked. And it was still €45 for what we call the nosebleeds, right up in the upper areas of the Accord Arena, I think it's called. But yeah, that would have been good, if one of my pals, a guy who doesn't follow tennis, he'd have got there. And as I've been saying right beforehand, get listening to the ground pass, just so that you can get yourself clued up. What's happening on your screen right now?
It's been, Novak just held comfortably again. And Dimitrov's about to serve in this third game.
Yeah, and Dimitrov and Djokovic is 1.1 off the first of the Dimitrov serve. Apologies. So a bit of pressure. I mean, it's very early. A couple of good serves. We'll see it out. But yeah, he's got to be feeling it. He's got to make sure he doesn't fall behind to an early break here in the second set, or it's no way back. A really strong serve down the tee. The +1 has been caught by Djokovic twice. But he puts away the smash. That's what I really like about Dimitrov. He's overhead. He very rarely, you see some players over the years, even Nadal, Murray, Djokovic as well. It's not their strongest part of their game, but I really like the Dimitrov. Every time I've watched him this week, and he's been attempted to lob, he's managed to put it away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's done a few this match already, and they've all gone over.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost letting us know about the intricacies of solo travel. Not one that I've done before. It's something that I actually wrote about for a travel magazine actually a while back. But solo travel, have you ever done it? Would you do it? What's the pros and the cons?
I went to, if you have a specific goal in mind, I think solo travel is the best. So for example, this March, I went to Miami to watch the Miami Open. I'm a hardcore tennis fan. A lot of my friends are not just going to travel somewhere for tennis. So that was a great trip. I went by myself, met people there who were interested in tennis, and, it was a great trip because I wanted to go to
people who you already knew, or did you meet people for the first time?
I met people there. No, you meet people there in the match. There are a lot of rain delays where you could just meet people and chat.
Yeah. So the rain delays are where you make. It's like, I used to smoke, and when we'd go outside from a bar, that's where you'd make. People who didn't smoke would all often say to me, "I'm as well coming outside because you seem to come back with like hundreds of pals." Do you know what I mean? Like when you go out to the smoking area. So that's maybe like what you're saying about the rain delay when you're at a tennis event on your own. That's when maybe the conversations you can just chat about anything. Chat about your favorite tennis player. A lot of love coming in for the solo travel there. Sean Power saying, that's something that his brother said the same about. I'm assuming that it's pretty good because Ghost says solo travel is the best. It's tough making group decisions, even with the only one other person. Unless you find someone who's prone to say yes. Find a yes person; they're the best. Okay, so we're still with serve. Dimitrov, serving first in this set. And he's given Novak a little something to think about, two fairly straightforward service holds. I wonder if Novak, I don't think anything's going to phase him. He's not going to be worried at this stage of a fight back, is he?
No. But I think it's all on Dimitrov here to push the matter. And you know, he definitely is playing with a little bit more oomph. You wish it had come in earlier, but it's nice to see at least he does have that. Because I, you know, I was beginning to think this might just be, you know, sort of a routine Novak win, but at least we're seeing some sort of fight from Dimitrov. And again, another packed house in Paris. I think I've said it before, I really love this arena. The courts are really small and intimate. It's always been a packed house. So it's nice to see for sure, because they bring the atmosphere. I think a crowd, especially with, who's that? Do you know who that is?
No, well, which one? I think that's Fabrice Santoro that's on the camera right now. They're obviously, so just to tell people who maybe aren't watching what we're talking about, the footage from Paris Bercy is basically going round the crowd. I think they were doing a little bit of celebrity spotting at that point, just as they do at most events. One was Fabrice Santoro. I think the guy who they were all applauding, the big tall guy, I think he's some sort of NBA star. I mean, you would be better. I mean,
you know
I think
what?
it's Big Ted.
I think it's the rugby players. Do you think?
Oh, is it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, the rugby players aren't generally that big, though. You know, it's like, you know, the Ruggers players are more bigger that way rather than that way. So, no, I mean, the commentator said something about there he is, Big Ted. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure who Big Ted was. So if anyone who was watching that and is in the chat and can tell us who Big Ted was and who was on their TV screens watching the final, you know, both Anastasia and I are unsure. Yeah, I agree. I like the court colours and the lighting. That's an interesting point. Is there a favourite court colour? Favorite court that you watch on the television over the tennis year that you particularly like, you know, aesthetically like to look at?
I mean, I can't. Indian. Between Indian Wells and Miami, actually.
I like Miami. I do like Miami. Yeah. But I'm a blue guy. I love blue. Like, you know, my football team wears blue. My country wears blue. I'm a kind of person who just loves blue. So I don't know if maybe that's why that kind of tends. But Miami for me.
Oh, that was a lovely ace from Djokovic, just down the tee, just.
Yeah, he's serving well. As the players rally at the moment, Djokovic tries to go down the line with a backhand. It's caught by Dimitrov. And funnily enough, you know, when he puts the pressure on, Novak hasn't played great tennis. I mean, look, he's in the final. He's, you know, games away from winning the match. But in terms of his level, you know, every match that I've watched, you know, it has been littered with errors. And, you know, if we had a player there that had the ability to put him under pressure, like Rublev did for long periods yesterday. You know, I feel like he's been there for the taking this week, and I know that Novak fans are going to go, "Are you mad?" But you know, I feel like
no, I don't think you're wrong at all. You know, I think for him, this is his warm up for Turin, so he hasn't played tennis competitively since
6 weeks since US Open. Yep.
So I'm not actually even surprised. I feel like he is warming up into it, and he might have been earlier easy pickings here in Paris because I just think it's his warm up to Turin. So
yeah, well that's it, isn't it? Yeah, because I mean, if he that's why he plays it, isn't it? Because I mean, if he really wanted to the Masters 1000, he could play Shanghai or whatever, but he's not going to do all that travel. Yeah. Dimitrov has just unleashed a backhand down the line. I thought that was in. And it was actually out, and apparently the umpire's telling him it was by some distance. Got to say, I thought that one, and it was. Hawkeye confirms. So there you go. Again, I'm terrible at line calling. Rubbish.
That looked in from my... Didn't it? Yeah. No, it looked so in, but I guess not.
I don't know, but I mean, it's quite a bit out, according to Hawkeye, and the umpire said the same. He's going like that. No, mate, you're
all perspective.
Long. Absolutely, and Novak strong serve again, and it can only be blocked, unreturned with a block. So we are again with serve. I think as the scoreboard chucked it. No, we're at 2-2. Sorry, I thought we were at 3-2. God, I thought we were at 3-2, and the scoreboard on our screen was trailing behind. Anyway, there is a good 30, over 30 of you guys, tuning in to the stream. So, firstly, thank you. Let us know if you can understand my accent, and yeah, let us know if anything you want to discuss. Are you watching the match? Is there a way back for Dimitrov? What is Anastasia laughing at? Ask anything. Oh, you need to go. Sorry. You need to go in 20 minutes.
Right. I'm signed in under producer, but
that's fine. So you, because you've been producing recently, how's that been going for you?
It's been great. I love doing it. It's it's kind of my vibe. So I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot. But of course now I'm just always signed
Actually,
in.
you produced for me last week, didn't you? When
yes.
I was doing a Vienna Basel stream, and you were telling me I looked like somebody or something. I can't remember, and I thought you were John.
I can't remember what match it was, but I did produce for you.
You did. You did. You did a stellar job, Anastasia. You did a stellar job. So we're at 30 love on the Dimitrov serve, looking to keep himself in front. Hello. I'm just going through the comments here. Is this because is this you going to watch the marathon then, Anastasia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Well, listen, I hope you get there next year. That's, as I said to you, I think there's a Loch Ness marathon, believe it or not, and that's usually at the end of September, start of October. And I just didn't think I was there yet, but my plan is to try and is to do that one next year, and then kind of take it from there. If I can manage to get through that one, I will look at London. I've always had New York and Boston, and the
Boston is a tough man.
Is that quite hilly? Oh, is it? Wow.
Yep.
Okay. And what about New York? Is that quite a flat course?
And I think it's not that flat in New York. It has its ups and downs, but Boston is so hard, and also you have to qualify for Boston.
Oh,
Boston
do you?
Boston is one of the ones where you have to have a certain time and to be able to run that one.
Wow, that's unreal. I did not know that. That is an interesting fact. I am going to take that fact away with me and look that up and find out what I'm aiming for.
Yes.
Well, on this one, on the tennis court, we have 30-all in the Dimitrov serve. He was ahead in this game. I think the umpires just had to ask the crowd just to not shout out during the points. So we'll see if Dimitrov can see out this when he served in. That looked wide, but it's not been called. Djokovic got it back, but he's put that one away on the +1 back to where it came from. We have game point for Grigor Dimitrov. So just when your final thoughts then, Anastasia, how long am I going to be in this chair doing this match? Do you think I've got another hour and a half, or do you think I've only got maybe in the next 20 to 30? And that's obviously me asking you, is Djokovic going to see this out?
Unfortunately, I think you only have another 30 minutes or so left in this match. I want to be wrong. Want to be wrong. So if Dimitrov can hear me, prove me wrong, Dimmy. Prove me wrong. But I think this is another half hour.
Okay. Sean's asking, has the WTA final been pushed to tomorrow? Yes, it's been moved to Monday. 18 minutes last night. I think Swiatek and Sabalenka managed to get out with Swiatek leading 2-1. I think Miles, I think, was penned in to do that commentary. It must have been a short shift for Miles.
Yeah. I watched. They were able to get the Pegula Coco match. That was a good match, so that was able to be completed. And then I was just trying to stay up to watch the Iga, but rain. As
I said, have you ever been to Cancun, Anastasia?
Mm-mm. No.
Right, so I've been at this time of year many moons ago, and I do remember one, like, you know, I'm in a 2-week all-inclusive hotel, but one for like 2 afternoons, basically, we were told not to leave the hotel complex, like go outside, because of like it's like hurricane. It's known as like hurricane season there, like between like around about. It was definitely the first week in November I was there, and it was like hurricane season. So, you know, when this all came about and started getting, you know, penned in, probably about 6 weeks ago, I'm thinking, I'm sure that place, you know, surely, but you're thinking surely the bosses would have thought about this, you know, definitely, you know, this is an international company who are organising this. They've taken this into account, definitely. But yeah, hopefully, I do hope to watch this 5-part Netflix documentary on the carnage of the carnage. What would you call it? The carnage of Cancun. Yeah, that's a good one. That we'll go with that title.
Yes. Netflix, are you listening? Please.
Hopefully, there's 28 people in here, and I'm pretty sure that one of them is going to be a Netflix executive.
Do you think Breakpoint is there?
Maybe, but Breakpoint, you know, it was so staged.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
it's just,
but this is their opportunity. This is their opportunity to be epic. Oh,
yeah. You know, like have their own kind of side part, like 5 episodes based around this.
Yeah. So now let's go back to this, because now we're going back and forth between deuce and advantage here.
Okay, so we've got advantage we've got a break point to Djokovic. What's happened is Dimitrov has put 2 balls wide when he's tried to go up the line with a forehand, 2 in a row, and he's given Novak a look in. It might be less than 30 minutes if this one goes for Novak Djokovic. Sean is suggesting maybe Netflix actually scripted this whole Cancun thing out. Maybe it was their idea. Maybe they said to the WTA, "Here, go to Cancun, build a stadium," not telling the bosses there that it basically pees down with rain at this time of year.
Oh no!
And Dimitrov has gone long, and his chances are going the way of Cancun's chances of hosting a decent event. Down the toilet, as we maybe say here. So 3-2, Djokovic complaining about something as Novak, but he's well on his way to another Masters title, his 40th 1000. And does this win will surely, this will wrap up. This will end the world number 1 conversation, won't it?
Yeah. I think Novak is just, as usual, upset with the crowd or something. But I think, now he just has to hold, and we know how good he is at doing that. So, yeah, it's just unfortunately inevitable. But I have to go.
Okay. No, good timing. Good timing. No, it has been a really good chat. Enjoyable as always, Anastasia.
I can't believe I completely forgot about Breakpoint, and I really hope the producers are producing, because
well, they must, because it's the WTA finals. They're 100%. My fear is because it just felt very controlled by the governing bodies, as opposed to like trying to find out exactly what goes on behind tour.
Oh, you mean
with this,
the show last season?
Yeah, it just felt
the show, but I also do think that was just because they were still trying to figure out how they would even, because even though tennis is a global sport, it's so different from F1 and even golf. So I'm sure they were trying to figure out how they would follow it. But considering how they handle the whole live golf situation on full swing, I just got excited about this Netflix documentary.
We'll wait and see. You might not get it till June 2024, though.
I know. That's so long ago, so long away. But anyway, I have to go. I'll let you call the rest of the match.
I will do. And wish your friend good luck from Scotland in her run. Okay.
Will do.
Okay. See you later, Anastasia. Anastasia, off to watch her friend run the New York Marathon. Good luck to friend. agreed. The Netflix doc was poor in my eyes. I've been, it started. We got the first bit in January, and then the next part was in June. And honestly, when the June one was coming, I was just like, I need to watch this because I like tennis, but I really can't be bothered. So anyway, right, Djokovic. Is there any way back for Dimitrov? I'm probably going to say no. Setting a breakdown. Novak serving well. Dimitrov just not coming with the same intensity and aggression. He'll probably be in his own head. It looks like he's in his own head right now. It looks like he's not came with the same intensity. He's not found his backhand. He's not managed to move Novak about. He's not managed to get him involved in these longer rallies as Rublev did to quite a bit of success. He's hitting too many net balls right now. This is in danger of running away from the Bulgarian. We're at 40 love. Novak hasn't had to do much again to see out this game. First serve. Ace. Knew it was coming. The players sit down. Let's run through. I was wanting to do this yesterday, but I just want to run through the Masters 1000 finals. Of course, we are probably about 10, 15, 20 minutes away from the Masters 1000 finishing up for the calendar year. I just want to take as a run through again. It's just a reminder of the winners and losers. Djokovic is actually trying to win his second 1000 title of the season, and that would join Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev as multiple Masters 1000s champion. Of course, as 9 events. Indian Wells was Carlos beating Medvedev 6-3, 6-2. Miami was Medvedev beating Sinner. Monte Carlo, Rublev beat Holger Rune in a 3-setter. Alcaraz got his second title by beating Jan-Lennard Struff in Madrid. Rome was Daniil Medvedev, his first title on clay. A couple of weeks later, he went out in the first round of Roland Garros, beating Holger Rune. Sinner beat de Minaur in Toronto. Djokovic, of course, that classic Cincinnati final, 3 sets for a set and a half. He looked beat, but managed to turn it around. And of course, Shanghai just a few weeks ago, Hurkacz beating Andrei Rublev. But it looks like Novak Djokovic is going to see this one out, although Dimitrov trying to mix it up a little bit, getting a little bit freer with the arm. Had a bit of applause from Djokovic the last point, but he just went wide with this one. He needs this game, obviously, clearly. Doesn't want to be a double breakdown with Novak serving for the title. This is a big game for Dimitrov, although it does seem like a thankless task, shall we say. I'm not going to put the nail in his coffin just yet. Have I lost you guys? I don't know, the sound just went a wee bit tinny there for me. Dimitrov, don't usually get him that animated. He's just had a bit of a scream, I believe, at his box right behind him, Jamie Delgado there. The frustration pouring out of the Greek, the Bulgarian, not the Greek. The last 15 points, Djokovic has won 12 of them. So is there any way back? Good for a serve. It's a serving volley attempt. Djokovic has got all the court to work with. And a great volley, again applauded by Djokovic. That's what he needs. He needs the crowd to get back on his side. They're a bit flat. He's a bit flat. Really strong first serve. He came in with a volley. Djokovic had, tried to pass him up the line, and a stretch volley. Again, applaud twice in one game. He's applauded. Really good volley that though, isn't it? It was put at him at pace on the stretch, and he took all the spin and all the movement out of it. And he's just got an ace there. And he fist pumps the air. Djokovic looking at the line, doesn't believe it was in. He's going to call it. It's been called out, and then it's been called right. Okay, it's actually been called out, and it wasn't a fist pump. It was a challenge by Dimitrov, and it is out. Djokovic is usually quite good with these. Okay, sound is sounding great. So as I've been told, never bad to hear that. Djokovic has another break point. Put the return right at the Dimitrov feet. Dimitrov, rubs his head, rubs his eyes, goes, what is going on? We are in the end game, I fear. And 45 people watching at the moment. Get involved for the last part of this break point to Novak Djokovic. Have we got any Djokovic fans out there? Let us know your thoughts. Uh, 23, 24. Okay. Djokovic and Dimitrov rallying forehand by Dimitrov. That looked wide. Djokovic thought so as well, but he played the ball and he put it wide. So Jake, right? So I know it probably isn't the best time to tell it, but I came onto this stream and Ghost is talking about Man City and Man United, and I'll see out this game and I'll tell you my fantasy football failing yesterday. So strong first serve by Dimitrov, really good +1, tries to go to the other corner. Djokovic is there in plenty of time. Forehand by Djokovic goes long. This will be a big hold. I know he's well down in the match, but tennis is a game of momentum. And if you can get this hold, it might G him up, and yeah, you never know. So game point, Grigor Dimitrov hasn't managed to fashion any sort of break point in this match. As Dimitrov, it goes down the tee, doesn't find the service box. So we have no, he didn't go, and that's my point. So the players are rallying. Backhand by Dimitrov, forehand by Djokovic. The players sit down at 3-4. Dimitrov showing a bit of character there. He's not happy, but he's still in this match. Okay, so my fantasy football failing. I am in a team, or I'm in a league on the fantasy football here in the UK of the Premier League through the official app of 10 people, and I am 10th. It's guys from my over 35s amateur football team, and I am 10th, and I'm talking 10th by like 70 points. And I'm like, right, I need to change it up here. I need to do something this weekend. So, right, what am I going to do? I need to try and get back in the game here, right? Man City are playing Bournemouth. Man City are at home. I'm going to get Haaland. I'm going to triple captain Haaland. Okay, I'm going to put him triple captain, and I'm going to he's going to score a hat trick. I'm going to get back in the game. Boom, boom, boom. So I was doing the stream yesterday, wasn't I? I'm doing the Tsitsipas Dimitrov semi-final. Come off, get myself something to eat, sit down at halftime. Man City are winning 3-0. I'm like, boom, on the app. Right, I bet you Haaland's got at least 2 of these and he'll get another couple. Didn't get any of them, and he got hooked at halftime with an injury. So I've just wasted my triple captain fantasy football on a guy who played 45 minutes. A guy scores every game, played 45 minutes, didn't get any goals, and get taken off injured at halftime. Brutal. I thought, that's me. I'm going to be 10. I'm going to be bottom of this league. I got 22 points yesterday. 22 points in the fantasy football yesterday. Rubbish. So anyway, hopefully Trent Alexander-Arnold can score a hat-trick against Luton today, because I've got him in the team as well. So anyway, yes, that is poor. Really bad. I mean, and imagine if I triple captain that Doku guy. Imagine if he got 4 assists and a goal. I would be top of that league. Listen, I've had Haaland for the top of the since the start of the season, but I never captain him, because I think everyone's going to be captaining him. I try and go for midfielders and all that, and defenders and stuff, to try and get like extra points. Like James Maddison in midfield, I'll captain him, and then he does nothing, and I'm like, this is why I'm bottom of the league, John. Anyway, right, we digress. I'm not very good at fantasy football. So Djokovic, 15 love up, 2 games away from his 40th Masters 1000 title. Is this going to be 7th Paris? Is it 7th Paris? I think it is. It might be more. It's well within. I think it might even be more. Well, he's 30. He's 15. Dimitrov is still getting the backing of the fans. Well, no, that's Djokovic beating Dimitrov twice before here in Paris. I have this stat. Thanks, Jane. Funnily enough, I'm trying to work on my broadcast voice and slow my dialect down. But clearly, like you say, it was a rant and I got overexcited. And basically lost my cool. So, Jane, thank you for pointing out the error of my ways. And yeah, not good. But right, this would be 7th Paris Crown, 9th final. Both are records. 6th trophy this season, 97th in his career. He's won titles in Paris Bercy in 2009, 2013 to 14, 2015, 2019, 2020, 21. Of course, a runner-up last year. And but Dimitrov fighting back a little bit here. Oh, I didn't even question if that was in by Dimitrov, but it's good for us. Didn't look it into me. So we've got 30 all. Couple of winners from Dimitrov. Let's hit 5,000 subscribers, as I said yesterday. Tell your pals, even if they don't follow tennis, to join in because we talk some amount. I talk some amount of nonsense. And you might even get this Scots guy ranting about fantasy football on a Sunday afternoon. Djokovic snuffed out any sort of problem there. Again, the serving. I think who watched a lot of Djokovic over the last, however many decades now, even in myself over the last 12 months, I've noticed markedly that the clutch of the serve, when the big points, when he's down, he can rely on that big serve to get him out of danger. And yes, the fantasy football is EPL specific. They actually, funnily enough, they tried one in Scotland a couple of years ago. Like this app tried it in Scotland, and it basically had to fold. I had to basically stop after 2 weeks because they just didn't know what they were doing. I signed up to that as well. Wasn't very good at that. Every year I say I'm going to be good at it. I'm going to be so good. I just spend time watching Match of the Day and going, right, I'll pick this guy. Yeah. Ghost, I did too. I thought Grigor had a chance, but I did think he had to start quickly, and I think he had to take that first set. And Djokovic just knows what he's doing, doesn't he? He's playing this. Djokovic, every return is going to the feet of Dimitrov, and Dimitrov's struggling to get it back. Djokovic dominating this rally here. He went for a backhand down the line. It's in. Fist pump by Djokovic. Sean, I'm taking that as a big time compliment, my friend. Yes, you don't know how hard it is not to swear sometimes in these streams, though, especially when you're having a rant about Erling Haaland. So, I mean, if Erling Haaland was to be injured now, that's going to open up this fantasy football wide open because everybody in their gran has Haaland in their team. Djokovic went for a wild forehand winner. For all money, it looked as if it could drop in, but it didn't. Fighting on 15 all. His last chance saloon for Grigor Dimitrov. Needs to hold. CBS Sport, I think, does a lot of your EPL stuff, Ghost. Katie Abdo, Carragher, Mika Richards. They do the Champions League stuff for CBS. I think it's called Golazzo. That's probably your best bet for EPL stuff in the States. I think I've been watching a wee bit of the MLS recently. Messi fanboy, so been catching some of the Inter Miami matches. Obviously they didn't go the way they wanted to after Lionel's injury. We just had a double fault by Dimitrov, the second of the match at 30-15 up, and 2 points away from defeat, 2 points away from victory for Novak. Let's hit the likes button. How many likes have we got today? How many did we end up yesterday? We were aiming for 20. I managed to get 13 before I had to dive away at 3 o'clock. I wonder how many we did. First serve long by Dimitrov. Pressure now on. Dimitrov. Second serve. He finds the box, but it's returned expertly by Novak Djokovic. He was waiting there, timed it to perfection, went cross-court with a backhand, and it was so good, Dimitrov didn't even try and get it. And it's match point or championship point, should I say. Massive moment for Djokovic. Pretty much secure, will be securing number one, end of year world number one again. And, his 40th Masters title. It's been another absolutely sumptuous year for the Serb. First serve is in. That one looked long, but we've not been called yet. Backhand to backhand up the line by Grigor. Grigor times that one all wrong. Novak Djokovic wins the Paris Masters wins the Masters for a 40th time, wins Paris for a 7th time. Dimitrov just didn't bring the form that he'd brought all week. The two embrace at the net. Of course, very close pals off the court, these two. I'm sure Grigor will have some kind words to say to Novak Djokovic. But the 36-year-old Novak Djokovic is the Paris Masters champion once again for a 7th time, 40th Masters title. I've done too much tennis talking over the last 2 days. I'm now losing my marbles. But yeah, well done to Novak. Not the probably the match, as John said earlier on, probably what we all could predict in terms of comfortableness. Dimitrov, head and hands, really disappointed with himself, I think. Just didn't bring the form that he'd had all week. Not doing himself justice, shaking his head there. I feel sorry for him a little bit, I think he thought that this moment would never come again to be in a Masters 1000 final. But if he just puts in the work, he has plenty of opportunity next year. I'm sure Grigor will have something to say in one of the events. So keep an eye out for Grigor with his new team. But Novak, congrats to Novak. And that is the Masters 1000 done for another year. And it's been eventful. Novak, Carlitos and Daniil, each winning 2 each. Hurkacz winning 1. Who else did we have? We had Sinner winning 1, didn't we? We had Rublev winning 1 against Holger Rune in Monte Carlo. It's been another good year of Masters 1000s. But now all eyes will turn to, of course, Turin. And that is on November the 12th, I believe. It begins. Players will be arriving Wednesday, Thursday next week. As always, talking tennis will be well on top of everything that's happening in Turin. I'm sure you'll see my pretty face on 1 or 2 streams as well. But yeah, listen, guys, I think we will close it down there as Novak signs the camera. Ghost, thank you very much. Yes, the WTA semi-final is finishing, I believe, at 4:30 Cancun time. So is that, I think, about 12:30? Let me tell you that right now. I know that it has to be finished after the doubles final, I believe. Let me tell you. Tomorrow, where are we? WTA. So where are you, Jane? And I can tell you time frame wise. So 9:30 UK time. 9:30 UK time will be the Sabalenka-Swiatek conclusion. So I don't know, depending on where you are, Jane, and how many hours behind or ahead you are from the UK, or even if you're in the UK, then so it's 9:30 UK time on Prime. Djokovic and Grigor hugging. I think Djokovic has seen his friend, quite emotional, shall we say, on the loss. Maybe didn't do himself justice. Didn't even get a break point. But anyway, enough from me. You'll be sick of the Scottish accent by now. 29 of you to end the stream. Not too bad. Like, subscribe, give me a follow at Tom Grant Journal, and we'll see you next week for the season-ending ATP finals. Catch you later, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
guys can imagine. But also, it would not have been possible without you, and throughout that week of support, it's been absolutely. I'm so grateful. No, congrats. I don't know what to say. Running out of words for you. Honestly, congrats for another amazing week to you and your team. My team, my guys, we had a blast this week, guys. Thank you. Thanks to everyone in the box. It's been an amazing journey this year. Completing yet another year and on such a high note. I'm very pleased with that. Yes, lots of such decisions. Thank you to all the staff from the tournament, the tournament director, everyone that makes the tournament such a special place, such an iconic center court. It was absolute privilege to play on that final, to the boy boys, the boy girls, everyone that has done such a tremendous job. To all of you guys, the photographers, everyone behind the scenes. It's been honestly, I cannot find even more words to express the gratitude that I have right now. So thank you all, and I'll keep on going that way. Hello, thank you.
D'abord, félicitations à Novak, je n'ai plus de mots, c'est fantastique, c'est fort, vraiment bravo encore une fois à toi. Merci également à toute mon équipe qui m'a soutenu. Vous ne pouvez pas savoir à quel point je me sens vraiment privilégié d'être ici dans cette finale, cette occasion. C'était un vrai bonheur d'être là une nouvelle fois. Merci à tout cas tous une nouvelle fois. Non, please. Okay.
Oui, bonsoir à tous. Je vais essayer de parler en français, je dois dire quelques mots en anglais. Grigor, sorry about the outcome today. Obviously, it's never easy losing in the finals, but I want to encourage you to stay tough and keep going because you played some of the greatest tennis that I've seen you play this week and in the last few months. So keep going. Thank you. Congrats to your team, to your family. It's always a pleasure to share the court with you. We go back a long time. We're kind of veterans on the tour right now. We're next gen, probably, or whatever they call it. Yeah, 30 plus gen. I would also like to thank in English my team, because they don't understand French, unfortunately, but I have to work on that as well. Thank you, team, for sticking with me this week. We know how challenging it was on and off the court. I was on the brink of losing 3 matches in a row prior to today, and you guys helped me with your support on the court, but also off the court, and recovery and preparation for every next match. So this is your victory as much as it's mine. Thank you very much, guys.
Avec Grigor, je vais dire en anglais, Grigor, c'est un plaisir de partager le mot encore une fois. Tu as joué peut-être l'un des meilleurs tennis que je t'ai jamais pu jouer. Félicitations encore pour toi et ton équipe pour cette année. Et puis, toute mon équipe, je voudrais les remercier en anglais parce qu'ils ne comprennent pas le français, mais vraiment merci pour ce que vous avez fait pour moi. Il y a quelques matchs où j'étais pas loin peut-être de perdre. Et donc, vous m'avez soutenu, vous m'avez supporté, vous avez fait ce qu'il fallait pour que je puisse être là. Merci vraiment à vous tous.
Merci à tous de ramasser des balles. C'est franchement, vous êtes les meilleurs du monde. Vraiment. Après, qu'est-ce que je voulais dire? Je voulais dire quelque chose à public. Merci pour votre présence dans le monde. Franchement, je dois dire que tous les années que je viens ici, c'est incroyable la quantité de gens qui viennent ici pour regarder le tennis de premier jour. Donc, merci beaucoup pour le soutien pour le tennis et pour cette programme. Merci. évidemment que Paris est une ville qui a beaucoup de traditions, beaucoup de cultures de tennis. Donc, pour moi, comme joueur de tennis, c'est un plaisir d'être ici. Après, le soutien et la relation avec le public, cette semaine était, on peut dire, spéciale. Mais merci quand même. Parce que pour cette énergie qui s'est créée cette semaine, je suis ici. Donc, merci beaucoup pour l'autre fois et peut-être à la prochaine. Merci.
So, der Tennisfans der Vorteil.
Ready? Play.
Cool. Hi, we are here again in Monastir. It's my first time here, but of course it's the second time that we've had the tournament here. And I'm with the president of the Tunisian Tennis Federation. Firstly, can you just introduce yourself?
I'm Salma. I am doctor in sports psychology. I teach in the High University of Sports, and I am the president of Tunisian Tennis Federation. I'm also member in the board of ITF. I represent Africa.
Nice. Tell me, how has it been this year, for example, compared to last year? Last year was the first version, so now you're an expert at hosting a tennis tournament.
Let's say not really an expert, but this edition we have more good players compared to last year, because last year the best players was 80, and in this year we have 26, 32, and it's very, very important the level of the player, the technical level of the player. Secondly, we tried to improve a little the infrastructure. That's why we did a little village. And we get, let's say, not more sponsor, but the same sponsor. As you know, tennis is not a sport popular here in Tunisia. To get sponsor, it's not easy for us. And the majority, they want to support because they have the visibility. And such an event, because it's a WTA 250, and it's diffused in beIN and all the media. That's why we get more sponsor than last year.
Good. We are missing one player this year compared to last year. Ons, unfortunately, she got injured last week in China and wasn't able to make it. How much of an impact does that have on the tournament?
To be honest, the fact that Ons doesn't play, we don't have a lot of spectators, and we try to push people to come to see tennis. As you know, Ons, she's our ambassador. Everyone loves her all over the world, especially here in Tunisia. They want to, all people, all players, all the fans of Ons, they want to see her playing here in Monastir or in Tunisia. Unfortunately, she has injury. And we did our tournament. Everything is okay. The level is very high. Every day I'm watching the matches. Really, I'm very happy because there is good players, good young players, and because they love Tunisia and they love Monastir also.
Yes. You have a 3-year situation, last year, this year, and of course next year. Is there a hope? Is there a plan to maybe continue beyond 2024?
The hope is here, yes, we can plan, but I have to discuss with EMG and WTA because, as you know, I buy the 3 edition, the tournament. Why not? Why not? It's our dream that we maintain Jasmine Open for many years, and why not also as a president of federation with my board, we hope to host also an ATP.
I can tell you that to work here is a pleasure because obviously having everything together, and it's nice. I'm from Europe, so we like some winter sun and the palm trees and the beach. What about the players? Are you communicating with the players about, are they comfortable? Are they enjoying their experience here?
Yes, yes. All the players are very happy to be here. The majority of the players that come here last year, they are here. They did a big publicity of promotion of Jasmine Open tournament. They like the weather, they have the beach, the food, and I think everything is good. The hospitality here in the hotel. The Tunisians are known to be very kind with the other people, and especially tennis, because now everyone loves tennis in Tunis in the fact of the result of Ons. And I don't know. I think that they are very happy, all the players.
Okay, one more. Next year, are you already sort of planning? I mean, are you looking at what happened last year, this year, and also thinking about, okay, what can we do next year to maybe, get even more players or make it even better for everybody? Have you already thought about next year?
Yes, we are thinking about next year. First of all, the week. It's very important to get the best week because, as you know, this time, just before the Masters, it's good. We get a good players, but it's not really the week that we want to take as a federation. Perhaps the first week of October, it will be better. And of course, we want to improve the village to get more sponsor. That's why we have to work on sponsoring next month. We don't have to wait till August or July. It will be very late. And yes, why not invite players in top 10 if Ons will not play or if Ons is not here. As you know, in sport there is always injury and we cannot control our player.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Cool. Hi, we are here again in Monastir. It's my first time here, but of course it's the second time that we've had the tournament here. And I'm with the president of the Tunisian Tennis Federation. Firstly, can you just introduce yourself?
I'm Salma. I am doctor in sports psychology. I teach in the High University of Sports, and I am the president of Tunisian Tennis Federation. I'm also member in the board of ITF. I represent Africa.
Nice. Tell me, how has it been this year, for example, compared to last year? Last year was the first version, so now you're an expert at hosting a tennis tournament.
Let's say not really an expert, but this edition we have more good players compared to last year, because last year the best players was 80 and in this year we have 26, 32. And it's very, very important the level of the player, the technical level of the player. Secondly, we tried to improve a little the infrastructure. That's why we did a little village. And we get, let's say, not more sponsor, but the same sponsor. As you know, tennis is not a sport popular here in Tunisia. To get sponsor, it's not easy for us. And the majority, they want to support because they have the visibility. And such an event, because it's a WTA 250, and it's diffused in beIN and all the media. That's why we get more sponsor than last year.
Good. We are missing one player this year compared to last year. Ons, unfortunately, she got injured last week in China and wasn't able to make it. How much of an impact does that have on the tournament?
To be honest, the fact that Ons doesn't play, we don't have a lot of spectators, and we try to push people to come to see tennis. As you know, Ons, she's our ambassador. Everyone loves her all over the world, especially here in Tunisia. They want to, all people, all players, all the fans of Ons, they want to see her playing here in Monastir or in Tunisia. Unfortunately, she has injury. And we did our tournament. Everything is okay. The level is very high. Every day I'm watching the matches. Really, I'm very happy because there is good players, good young players, and because they love Tunisia and they love Monastir also.
Yes. You have a 3-year situation, last year, this year, and of course next year. Is there a hope? Is there a plan to maybe continue beyond 2024?
The hope is here, yes, we can plan, but I have to discuss with EMG and WTA because, as you know, I buy the 3 edition, the tournament. Why not? Why not? It's our dream that we maintain Jasmine Open for many years, and why not also as a president of federation with my board, we hope to host also an ATP.
I can tell you that to work here is a pleasure because obviously having everything together and it's nice. I'm from Europe, so we like some winter sun and the palm trees and the beach. What about the players? Are you communicating with the players about, are they comfortable? Are they enjoying their experience here?
Yes, yes. All the players are very happy to be here. The majority of the players that come here last year, they are here. They did a big publicity of promotion of Jasmine Open tournament. They like the weather, they have the beach, the food, and I think everything is good. The hospitality here in the hotel. The Tunisians are known to be very kind with the other people, and especially tennis, because now everyone loves tennis in Tunis in the fact of the result of Ons. And I don't know. I think that they are very happy, all the players.
Okay, one more. Next year, are you already sort of planning? I mean, are you looking at what happened last year, this year, and also thinking about, okay, what can we do next year to maybe, get even more players or make it even better for everybody? Have you already thought about next year?
Yes, we are thinking about next year. First of all, the week. It's very important to get the best week because, as you know, this time just before the Masters, it's good. We get a good players, but it's not really the week that we want to take as a federation. Perhaps the first week of October, it will be better. And of course, we want to improve the village to get more sponsor. That's why we have to work on sponsoring next month. We don't have to wait till August or July. It will be very late. And yes, why not invite players in top 10 if Ons will not play or if Ons is not here. As you know, in sport there is always injury and we cannot control our player.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.